Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Be Blunt, a podcast about living and loving everything Blount County, Tennessee.
We're your hosts, Brett Hepner and Eric Rice, the property dads at LeConte Realty, and we're excited to talk more about this great place we call home. All right, so Eric and I were talking to a coworker in the Sky City offices,
Sky.
and she said, "Hey, you need to have Mama Mel on your podcast." And we're like, "We're not familiar. Who's Mama Mel?" And she's like, "Oh, well, here, look." So we started looking up it. If you haven't, and if you're one of the minority like us that haven't been to In the Kitchen with Mama Mel, based on Mama Mel, our guest today, and her exploits in the kitchen. I mean, it's self-explanatory. So,
it's a movement.
Welcome to Let's Be Blunt.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you guys today.
So we always start off, and I know a little bit of this because we talked before that. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize who Mama Mel was. We used to work together about 10 or 12 years ago. And since that time, you've apparently spent every waking hour in the kitchen. So tell us a little bit about and there's a lot of it, Blount County history.
Well, I'm a fifth generation Blount Countyan, probably farther than that, but I don't know. I have a pretty good knowledge of the history 5 generations back.
Okay.
My great-great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, and my grandfather all lived in Cades Cove before it was a national park.
Wow.
So that's
5 generations. That's 300 years, something like that, maybe.
something like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. That's really cool.
Yes. So that's a big part of who I am and this area. And, it's near to my heart. So I love that history. Lots of family because of that. Because people that moved out of the park, they kind of just came down the road to Townsend and Walland and Hubbard, if you know, Rocky Branch. So lots of family.
I've heard of all of those, but Hubbard. I'm not familiar with Hubbard. But so yourself grew up did you go to William Blount?
I went to Heritage High School.
Heritage, of course.
Yes.
And then have been in Blount County your entire life.
I've been in Blount County my entire life. I've never moved anywhere. I live within a couple of minutes of where I grew up. I stayed really close. The farthest I've moved, at one point we lived inside the city of Alcoa, and so I didn't go far.
You didn't go. From somebody who has moved around his entire life, and I guess we've been here since 2005, but before then, you just moved around. I can't imagine being in one place for that long. It's to me, it's kind of I don't know, it kind of has this romantic feeling, or I don't, maybe that's not the right word, but just this feeling of this is your home, right? And
it is.
That's
I know exactly what you mean. It does. Like, I feel comfortable anywhere I go. I just it's home, and I feel safe. I feel comfortable. This is, as the old Montgomery Gentry song, this is my town. Well, I know everything about it. And Eric, I'm the same way with folks like you and Brett. I know Brett's from another state, and I'm always, picking people whenever they come, like, how did you get here? What was the process? Where have you worked? And what did you do? And, it's interesting to me. I'm like, how do people go from state to state?
And I've been here 32 years, and just last night I said to somebody, I'm always amazed that I can go into Target or grocery store and not know so many people. I'm guessing you don't have that.
Well, I do pretty much. My husband, he says, before YouTube or any of that, he said, you can't go anywhere. It's an all-day event. And I'm like, well, yeah, you got to check on everybody and their mom and them when you see everybody. You know everybody everywhere you go.
Five
And
generations. I'm guessing you're related to half of them. So
I am.
That's
Uh,
that's pretty cool. It's with my wife is a grade school principal, and we can't go anywhere without her seeing a teacher or a parent or a student or all three. And
yes,
I always tease her. It's like trying to get a deacon out of church on Sunday. Everywhere we go, there's a conversation, and it's a 15-minute trip turns into an hour.
exactly.
So
so
when after high school, you stayed around here. Met is your husband Blount County in life?
He is. He's
Okay.
we were in different high schools, but we met at an after school job. Appropriately, we worked at the grocery store, which,
Ah,
that and that was one of the things that, when we get on into YouTube, one of the first things I did were grocery hauls. I don't know if
yeah.
you guys are familiar with haul videos,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, but we met. He went to Alcoa High School. His family is also from Townsend, dates back to, family in the Cove and that kind of stuff. But we met in high school, and were married 2 years after I graduated. He was a year ahead of me, and he worked for the city of Maryville. He was an electric lineman for 32 years.
Hmm.
So he's now retired, which was great. Whenever that's, people don't have 32 years from, that's the only place he's ever been.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen often. So that's been good. He got to retire early. And I worked for about 13 years for Vulcan Materials Company. I went to work right out of school with them on Alcoa Highway, which at the time it was a Mid-South divisional office. I think it's more kind of like a regional sales office out there now, but still very great place. And from there, I came home after my second child was born, and
Hmm.
you know delved into all of the stay-at-home mom stuff, and keeps you busy. You're not a stay-at-home mom
mm.
or
Well,
dad.
you may be staying at home, but you're not doing anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
so somewhere along the way, you ventured into Carlike Delozer Realty for a brief period of time.
Yes, I did. Once my kids, I was always at school volunteering. So once you get into school, Eric, your wife would know this. They're like, we need substitute teachers. So,
Yeah.
so that I started just, doing things like that to help. And then as my kids got older, um, you know, up in middle school and stuff, I was like, I can find something else to fill my time. And it so happened I knew Jerry Delozier. We have been in church together and been friends for years, and he needed somebody to work a few days, some hours, a week, being office help and that kind of stuff in his real estate and auction business. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So, 10 years later, I don't move much. That's the theme of me.
That's
If I get comfortable, watch out.
yeah.
You're stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's sort of a theme already in your family and in your life. It's this steadiness, and I appreciate that about you. I was wondering, and this is a little off the cuff. We didn't, prepare you for this question, but you know, you've been in Blount County a long time. Um, what is it that you love about Blount County? What is it that makes it home, or that makes you want to stay, or and I'll kind of open it up to you, but I'm just curious as to why people who have been here all their lives, that's where they decided to be. That's where they decided to stay.
Yeah. It's the people. It is the people of Blount County and the people of East Tennessee. Of course, a lot of them are my family.
Mhm.
So I have roots,
Yeah.
and I just wouldn't ever want to leave that. And, I'm close to my family. I can't imagine not being right down the road from my mom and dad, or Patrick's mom and dad. The Appalachian culture is, I don't know, there's no place like East Tennessee. You can go to other parts of the state, it's not the same. There's something about the Appalachian people that is true it's welcoming, it's accepting. I don't know, they're just good people.
Mm.
And I'm not saying they're not good people everywhere. There are good people everywhere, but there's something about the Appalachian culture that I love. It's very unassuming. Everybody's different. Like, you meet people from all walks of life that are Appalachians with all interests. And, people are the most interesting thing to study or to meet. And, that's a big part of it. And it's beautiful, the Smoky Mountains. I don't know, it's peaceful, it's pleasant, especially Blount County. We have so much to offer with parks and our greenway, and then shopping, restaurants. Like, I feel like I live in God's country and peaceful on my back porch. I have woods, I have deer, um, but yet I can hop in my car and I can eat at a delicious restaurant in 5 minutes. you know.
Yeah. No, that's exactly, and that's something that we've heard over and over again from people who have either been here a long time or have been here all their life. The people is, and all that this area has to offer,
Yeah.
the diversity of things that this place has to offer. I don't know, there are not too many places that I know of that you could find all that.
No, definitely not. Definitely
That's why
not.
people like Eric and I are like, you come here and you never leave
Yeah.
because Eric's moving around, all parts of the country. He gets to East Tennessee and it's like, okay, this is it.
Yep.
Yeah, when you know, you know.
Right. Right.
All right, so back to your work history, I guess. Moving on from that, like, here's the bottom line question. When did In the Kitchen with Mama Mel begin? And explain to us. I mean, just go. Just work.
It's
We'll
so
just
funny,
listen.
but it's so funny because, one a few years ago somebody wanted to talk to me about my channel, and I was asking Patrick, I said, "Why did I start this channel? When did this happen? Why did it's like I don't even know now it's like it's just always been, but but it hasn't always been, but it feels like that now. As a consumer of YouTube, which is how a lot of people start, um, probably I guess it was like April of 2021 was when my channel actually started, and a lot of it was watching YouTube and thinking, I have things to offer. Or you watch, it's that thing you watch somebody else and you think, I can do that. You know, could I do that?
Yeah.
You watch, and I think people were making it really hard when the food content. I was like, there's years I've fed a family and I've worked, and it has some of this is they're making it so hard, and take themselves so seriously. I'm like, we're cooking dinner here. We can make this fun. We can make it quick. We can make it easy. I just felt like called to share some of the things that I had learned over the years, and the fact that I am just a home taught cook. I didn't grow up cooking. I didn't know anything when I got married. I was really busy in high school. I did lots of extracurricular activities. I played softball. And my mom, who is an angel, she did everything. She did everything. I was not in the kitchen with her. And so when I got married, I had to, and I didn't learn right away because it was just me and my husband, and we both worked. We ate a lot of hot dogs. We ate out a lot. We had a lot of Chef Boyardee. I think probably the first real meal that I ever made, I took Chef Boyardee, canned raviolis, and browned some ground beef and mixed it together and put some cheese on it and put it in the oven. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at me. you know, that
And
was gourmet.
your husband was probably like, we have just stepped into a different realm here.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
leveled up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I had to learn, and but it didn't come natural. It didn't come natural because I hadn't had any practice. So I leaned on my mom a lot in those first years, and, you know, and I learned a lot. And as my children, came on, especially once I stopped working and I was home more, I got, like, I loved it. I always loved homemaking, but I really got to experience it fully. So that's kind of where, I thought I've learned a lot of things. I didn't start this channel till almost 30 years into being a wife and a mom. And I felt like I could reach people who were in that stage that I had been through and be a help to them. Little to my surprise, my demographic that actually watches my videos, there are some younger women, but a lot of it is the older generation. That
Interesting.
is the people that watch, and it surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. And they also love the quick and easy meals. They love the old timey things that I pull out every now and then too, the good home cooking kind of stuff. But they love the quick and easy things. A lot of them are older, they have mobility problems and that kind of stuff. So, that's kind of how that got started. And I had no experience, never filmed a video. I've never edited a video. That was not anything in my wheelhouse. So my son-in-law, who is not my son-in-law yet, he set me up with an editing program and kind of showed me some basics. And I said, okay, where he helped me get my first little video out, and I'm so proud of it still. It was chilly and it was so pretty. We put some music with it. And I said, okay, I'm going to post a video every week from now on. And we pretty much have.
Yeah,
So I learned a lot.
that's
So
incredible.
looking back at the first one, I was going to ask you if you remember the first one. So it was chilly.
It was
When you look back at that first one to where you are now, are you like, I wish I'd have done this different or that different?
definitely. I look back at some of them and I really didn't show myself on camera much at first.
Yeah.
And, but, that's okay because it helped me be more comfortable. And I still am not on camera, forward facing a lot of the time of my videos. It's more geared on looking at the food, but I'm talking, of course, constantly the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I look back, but I wouldn't change it because I've learned so much. And in order to do anything, you just have to jump in there and you start where you're at and you build skills. And
Hmm.
I can look at videos that I edited a year ago myself and I think, wow, look what I've learned in a year. You always think you're, okay, I'm good, but still learning things. And that was fun because, you get a certain age, and that was a big part of starting my channel too, was that my kids were grown and I felt this, like, I don't want to say an empty feeling inside, but I felt like, what do I do now?
Right. Yeah.
Who
What's my
There was a
purpose
void
now?
to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who will I take care of now?
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
and so that was a big part of it, was, discovering a new side of, like, oh, it's time for me to do something.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it
Brett
worked.
and I, we know exactly what you're going through there, both with the uh, our podcast, and just because we go through learning phases ourselves. We started this, what, 3 years ago or so, and listening to our first podcast, till we had a pretty good thing going, and then we added video, and now we're like, ground zero. So we're right there with you there, and of course we are empty nesters, and trying to figure all that out. So there's a lot to maneuver around and navigate at this stage of life. I'm curious, at what point, I know that you have used a local service, Sky City, the Sky
Mhm.
City Initiative here in Maryville. At what point did that come into play, I guess, in your podcast, and how did it help you?
Well, you know, the statistics they're out there if you want to look them up for YouTube folks. everybody, that's kind of one of the things kids now, they say, oh, they want to be a YouTuber, or that's like a career thing now. But very slim people that get monetized. I didn't realize that because, the ones that are put in front of you, you hear them talking about that make money doing this. And there are certain thresholds you have to meet. And I met them pretty quickly, thanks to my niche. I had a lot of great viewers.
Yeah.
So once you start bringing money in, and I tried to treat it from a business from the start, I was like, I'm going to stick with it and that. So when you start to bring in money, then there's a whole nother can of worms that you have to open up, that, okay, now I'm a business, you know. So
Yeah.
that was when I started reaching out because I'm smart enough to know that I don't know a lot of things about,
That's big.
especially about, the accounting of things. And I saw that, it was growing, and I thought I want to do things right the first time around. I mean, you can make mistakes in editing and this and that, but I'm like, I need to get on top of it and get the help I need in the areas that I need it. So I don't build a website, or I don't say, okay, this is going to be my brand or whatever, and then come back and say, no, that doesn't fit me. And, it's like, I want to just do it right the first time. So Sky City is an excellent resource. I went through a program that's called Co-Starters there, and I believe it was 9 weeks long, and you met once a week for 9 weeks. I think it was about 2 or 3 hours every time, and you had a couple facilitators, which were local business folks and entrepreneurs, and then there were also a couple of mentors that were also local business owners and entrepreneurs, and they guide you through the program. And basically, you're writing a business plan. They break it down so it's not overwhelming, which was good for everybody in my cohort. You're basically building a business plan or writing a business plan. You talk about your customer base, your product, um, the cost, insurances, taxes, anything that you need to know about having your own business. And it was so helpful.
Hmm.
The information, number one, and the clarity that it gives you about what you need to do for your business, and zeroing in on the right products, the right services to reach the right people. That was, applicable to every business. And then putting me in touch with the right people at the right time, whether it be mentors that could help me along the way. I need help with accounting. I need to set up an LLC. At what point should I do that? And so they put me in touch with all kinds of other people in the community that have been a great help.
Hmm.
So, yeah, because you want to stay with me anyway. I wanted to be creative. I knew it was going to be a business, but I don't want to worry about the business things because I want to be able to keep being creative and do the part that I love doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when you posted your first one, was it posted as In the Kitchen with Mama Mel, or did you develop that name? And then how far into it were you when you thought, hey, you know what? This can be a business.
Yeah. I set up my channel as In the Kitchen with Mama Mel. I used an old channel that I had that I viewed on, and I just turned it into, the creator channel. And like I said, I tried to treat it like with respect, that I have deadlines, and you know it's gonna be a business. I was like, I think I feel like we can do this, and I don't know how successful it'll be or whatever, but I'm gonna do that. So I kind of just went into it with that mindset about it. But I will say it was a really different setup at first because just the season of life that we were in. I still had one child at home, all the time. My oldest was in and out, in from school. My husband still worked, and I wanted it to be um, as least invasive to our natural life, I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
as could be. Like I just set my phone up actually, and I still film on my phone
Okay.
because it's little and it's easy to use and it gets in there, where I
Yeah.
need it. But I would set my phone up and would record what I was doing in snips, bits and pieces while I was cooking. And I didn't narrate it at the time. I just collected the footage. And because people were coming and people were going, we were talking about the day because that's what you do at dinner time.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I'm cooking, my husband's coming in and he's standing over there and we're talking about what's happened. The same with the kids. And I didn't want to change that dynamic. I'm like, there'll be a day there'll be nobody here and I'll be in here cooking by myself and I don't want to miss this. So I did that and then I would come back and edit the clips and I would do a voiceover to go with it. So that's
Okay.
been a nice development over time that now, as I'm cooking, you know, I narrate as I'm going and I don't script
Okay.
anything. I have, points in my head as when I'm, looking at what I'm going to make. I'll jot down notes of like, I need to tell about, substitutions and this and that, and different things that people can do, but I don't have a script for when I'm cooking. And, um, I just kind of talk through it as I go. But we do like taste tests now, me and my husband. That's a really big part that people like. We
I
didn't.
like that. Papa Patrick comes
Yeah,
in. Mama Mel and Papa Patrick.
yeah, and he's still nervous. He says that's so nerve-wracking to him. But I said people love that, especially the ladies. I said the ladies love you. But
Well, I
we're
always
not.
teach people that my spiritual gift is making people feel good about what they cook, and so I feel like I would be great at Patrick's job if
Yeah.
all I had to do was come in and eat something and tell you how great it was. I would nail that. So if you ever need like a stand-in, let me know.
Well, I'll remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said, everything's, good, and he'll tell me if it's not, if it's something he don't like, because we don't all like the same stuff either. But that is a big part of it, is people love the family aspect of it. They love whenever he's on there. I tease him that the ladies love him, but they do. And something that they say a lot, like I said, my demographic is not what I thought it was going to be. And that was something that I learned through Sky City too. Sometimes it surprises you. What you think you're going after is not exactly what happens. But um, they'll say, I used to cook for my husband, and I love to see you cook for your husband. I love that you enjoy, cooking for your family. And I remember whenever, it takes them back in nostalgia in their own lives. A lot of them are older ladies who maybe their husbands have passed, or, when their kids were young, they'll hear me talk about, so and so didn't like this, so we would change this. And so,
yeah,
it's all just being relatable and pulling in, your real life. And I don't cut out mistakes. I mean, I leave in things that happen because, honestly, if it's happened to me, it's probably going to happen to somebody else. If I've messed something up or, something like that, I'll show it. Then I'll show, what we'll try to do to fix it or
yeah.
whatever. But
So I
That's
want
a
to throw this in now that we've gotten in this far, and we've mentioned In the Kitchen with Mama Mel more than once, to give our listeners, who are maybe a couple hundred people, a background of what In the Kitchen with Mama Mel is. I went in there today and looked. You have 191,000 followers, several, maybe 500 and some videos.
yeah,
Uh, the most popular two have more than 1 million views.
that
So,
is that is
that's
incredible.
humbling. Thank
That
you.
is incredible.
and it's all about cooking, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It is.
anything not food related.
No, we did. One time we did a video where we took an old cast iron Dutch oven back to nothing and
Uh,
brought it
Mm.
back, still food related.
yeah.
I'll
we've
have to go
been.
look at that. That would be interesting. But I love, like, I don't know if you can see this. I love to cook
Yeah,
as
I love
well,
that.
and but it's, I get a lot of my recipes or whatever. People say, or my family thinks I can cook. I can follow a recipe. I mean, that's it. Like I know, like I'm looking here and I put it there, and so I can do that. But it's always from, New York Times or something on the internet, and it doesn't ever seem to be sort of easy, accessible meals, which is, when I was going through all of your videos, that's what it feels like you are doing, is like making this easy and accessible to people, who everyday folks, like. And I wonder, do you I watched the Ina Garden special or whatever on Netflix, and somebody asked her if she cooked a lot. Do you cook a lot? Because she did not. She was like, "No, I eat the same thing every day," until I'm cooking, on screen. But do you cook for yourself every day?
No way, Jose. With just me and Patrick at home now, I don't. And honestly, I love at Christmas, I try to pre-film as much as I can, especially at the holidays, because I like to take time off too.
Yeah,
So I liked, and then it's like Christmas trees, it's appetizers, it's all that kind of stuff. And I love that period of time when I'm done with that filming and it's like, okay, we're having chicken casserole. We're going to have sloppy joes. Like we go back and eat all the things that I've made a million times. Ravioli, Chef Boyardee ravioli casserole, you know, those
yeah,
things that, you're constantly looking for new things to show for the channel, but we miss the old things, pinto beans and all that stuff. And every now and again, you just bring them out and show them again because there's always new people that are watching. But yeah, and we love to eat out too, especially
mm,
the two of us. But I do try to keep it accessible to everybody because, that is the thing that really um, I want to focus on is families coming back to the dinner table because growing up, we always had dinner together. We sat down at the table. Even, on busy nights when I had ball practice or this or that, we always had something and we might eat it at different times. But I don't know, dinner was a time where we all sat down, all four of us, and we connected and, picky eaters. Sometimes you fuss and fight. Remember those ages when
Oh
some of
yeah.
us were
yeah.
little. But
Not too long ago.
yeah, but that was important to me was to bring that back and to show people that it can be done without a lot of time in the kitchen with very little skill. Like you said, Eric, I didn't know anything, but I'm like you. I can read a recipe. Monkey can see and do, you know?
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah, so that was kind of how I learned too. And this is how little I knew. I was going to make a lasagna, a lady I worked with. And a lot of my recipes come, of course, from my mom. When I worked at Vulcan Materials, I was the young girl there. I wasn't married or anything when I went to work there. They saw me through marriage and two children there. But, they loved giving me recipes and helping me. So a lot of the most popular things you see, like Mary's meatloaf, and that's what I call it on my website. And that was given to me by Mary Spence, who I worked with. But, give things that are easy, that are doable for working moms and dads when you get home, things you can put in the crock pot. They don't take a lot of time, they don't take a lot of money, and you don't have to be a great cook. You can do it easily. And it doesn't always, if you're gathering around the table with a pizza, that's still family dinner time.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and it's not always the food that is important. Of course, we want it to be nutritious and taste good. Um, but food brings people together. And, I don't want my children to I didn't want my kids to not have that same experience growing up that I had.
Yeah.
And, my dad was a fireman for the city of Maryville, and he would work 24-hour shifts and then he was off for 48 hours. So when we were growing up, that night when dad wasn't at home, we would go out and eat, or we would have spaghetti or tacos or, stuff. Because dad, he liked pinto beans and cornbread or pork chops and a vegetable. It was like, what he grew up on, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But, you just have those memories associated with all those things. And to this day, my mom, who we call her Granny, she's been a granny since she was in her 40s, though. So don't have that in your mind with the Granny name. We just like to mess with her.
Yeah.
But she still, every Sunday, she teaches Sunday school for kids and is active in the children's ministry. And on top of all that, she still has dinner every Sunday for all of us, me, my kids, which 3 now, including my son-in-law, my brother and his wife and their son, and
That's really
anybody else
special.
who we drag in.
Yeah. Very
So,
special.
Nice.
yeah. And she does it, she does it very easy style. A lot of things in the crock pot, or she'll put casseroles together and then just have to put them in the oven when she gets home. And, always have chicken nuggets and macaroni for the grandkids, even though the youngest grandchild, he's 13 now, but, you still,
Yeah.
we'll all be old and she'll still have chicken nuggets and macaroni on Sunday.
So there was, before we wrap up, there was a question that I've been wanting to ask since the beginning. I'm just going to throw it in because I can't let it go without. So you mentioned when you first started posting your YouTube videos, you had 2 girls who were, I think, maybe high school and college age.
Uh-huh.
What did they think of mom posting videos on YouTube?
They have been supportive, Brett. They really have. Um, it was kind of, awkward at first. They've never been embarrassed by it or anything like that. They've always been really proud of it and shared it with their friends. And my oldest daughter, like I mentioned at the time, they were just dating, but, it was her boyfriend, now my son-in-law, that really, I mean, if it hadn't been for him, I would have never gotten a video out. I wouldn't have known how to do anything. But they have been very supportive of it. And I think sometimes it would even get a little bit frustrating, when I was in that growth period and, I was having growing pains and trying, to keep my content fresh and changing up how I was doing things. And, I would be like, okay, everybody be quiet, quiet on the set. Mom's trying to, you know, they get frustrated and whatever. And I told my husband, one time I said, I don't know that they appreciate what the direction that this is going, but they were kids too,
Right.
So, but yeah, since that time, then, they're just used to it now. When we have family dinner night, I try to, not like I'll film the cooking before they come if I'm making something new. I like to try to not film on family dinner night. But if I'm wrapping it up and everybody comes in, I'm like, hang on, you know, I'll get my
You
plate. We call the show plate. I'm like, let me get mine out. Now everybody come and get everything. And I'm over in the corner, getting my final footage and all that. And I'm like,
you need
okay,
one of
no,
those on air lights above your
yeah,
kitchen. Like,
yeah,
when the light's on.
that's right. And nobody tells you that, like I said, I'm the creative, like I come up with the ideas, I do the ideation, I actually do the hands-on, do the cooking. I'm the filmer, the director, the producer, and
Yeah.
now I do have an editor, which is wonderful. But you do all the moving pieces, and nobody tells you that you never get a hot meal ever again now. By the time I get done with my plate, I'm like, oh,
What's the
As you can
what's
probably
what's the
tell by
one
our production that yeah, we're in that stage too, and we're doing
for
all
sure?
the editing. And here's an example that I noticed actually as we started. Um, I think you probably have a light on you.
I
I am
do.
sitting
I'm
I'm sitting in a room that I forgot to turn the lights on, and only the sunshine from my left. As you can tell, I'm looking at this. It's like it's dark over here. It's like that's the kind of stuff we need to learn
Well,
eventually. But
yeah, but I think that's good, Brett. That's kind of what you want. You want to cast a shadow.
okay,
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
Mama
but
Mel
I'm
says it.
not.
It must be true then.
Yeah, I don't have a good setup to sit down and film because all of my windows are behind me in every room. So, yeah, that's hard. I have to bring in lights and then you deal with glare, but you know what? You just move on with it. I've
You just
learned over the few years I've been doing this, watching lots of videos about filming and YouTube growth and all those things. There's a whole nother can of worms you can get into, but people will forgive um, bad video much easier than they will bad sound. So as long as
Mm.
you can be heard, that's good.
Good.
That is really good, and it probably and I don't sell yourself short because your content is fantastic. There's a connection that you have with your audience that you know is obviously very very strong because whether it's great video or even great sound or not, they're connecting with you, your meals, but also just like you said, the hominess, the approachableness, whatever it is. So that you obviously have something to say that's connecting with people.
Well, thank you. I do have a wonderful, wonderful community, and I call it that when I say our community with my viewers because it is our community. I wouldn't, anybody, any of us turn on a camera, make a channel, say anything we want to say. Doesn't mean anybody's going to be there to listen or
Yeah,
that they care, but
we know
I
that.
feel, yeah, I feel like I have a responsibility, and I told my husband when I started, I said it is kind of scary, but I said I'm just going to be me, and that's all I can be.
Yeah.
It's too hard to be anything else. And I said, I'm sure there will be people that will laugh at the way I talk and the way I do things and what I make and, yada, yada. But that's okay because you'll find the people that you resonate with. And, I feel like I have um, a connection. And like you said, it's more than the food. It's, just the camaraderie of it. People say, and I wanted it to be in the kitchen with me, in the kitchen with Mama Mel. I just wanted it to feel like people are coming into my kitchen and they're sitting at the table having a cup of coffee and I'm cooking and we're talking. And, that's kind of what I strived for and to create a place that is uplifting, a place where we have fun and we can laugh at ourselves and there's no stress. We're not getting into a lot of stuff, just fun. And if I have something on my heart, the world is a heavy place. And if there's something on my heart that I want to share, I can share that. This is my place to do that.
It's your
And
place. Yeah.
yeah, and if you don't agree, hey, that's okay. That's okay. We can disagree and we can have different points of view on things, but we can still be friends, and we can still get along. And if you don't want to hear me talk about something that's on my heart that day, you can just fast forward. It won't hurt my feelings. Don't hurt my feelings a bit. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. I don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. you know.
Well, we usually wrap up asking if there's anything else you want to add, but I think that right there, what you just said is good. I mean, what we will say, I'm going to speak for Eric here as we wrap up is, if Patrick gets tired of it and you need somebody to come over and try it, I mean, I can share Eric's spiritual gift. I'm in.
That's right. We'll do it. We'll do it. I need to fry some potato cakes.
Ooh.
That's the biggest request. One of the biggest requests that I get is people love potato cakes.
I was thinking Chef Boyardee ravioli
Well,
casserole.
I need to bring that one out. I do. And send me your recipes because I have a segment and I've kind of over the holidays we got out of the cycle of regular stuff. I love to do this memories from your kitchen segment where people send me recipes that are special to them and I recreate them. But more than that, I'm like, you all have to listen to me talk all the time about every memory that I have connected to everything, you know. So you tell me what makes it special to you, and that, and I'll share their memory and
Yeah,
what that recipe means to them and make it. So you guys send me your recipes.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah, that's really
Like,
great.
I mean, Mama Mel, it's been great, and you've got at least 2 new followers from us, and hopefully a lot more from that because
thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. It's been a blessing and a pleasure to talk with you guys. I'm always excited to talk about cooking in the kitchen.
Us too. Thanks.
Thank you.
There's different levels of fame, and
We're at the bottom.
well, she is way higher than us. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's not saying a whole lot, but yeah, you're right. She is way. I mean, she's got an impressive following.
That's what I mean about fame. It's like there are famous people that you just haven't even heard of yet that you're going to. It's like she's one, and she just decided, hey, good for her. I mean,
Listen, I was thinking as I was going through all of her videos, I was thinking, I'm going to see her on the Food Network someday. I mean, really, honestly, like she's so interesting, and her voice is so,
yes,
So in college, I lived with a bunch of guys, and I would come home, and they'd be just laying around listening to Bob Ross,
yeah, oh, yeah,
watching videos. Like none of them were going to be painters, or even really liked painting, but they, something about what he was doing and the sound of his voice, and and she has got that. Like I just found myself just watching episode after episode, like. Am I ever going to make this? I don't know, but I'm really enjoying watching it,
yeah. And she said something about like not liking her voice or something. It's like just the opposite. People will watch because she just draws you in with her voice.
She really does. And she's so, like, I want, most of these the recipes are pretty simple recipes, like that most people can do. And that's the other thing that just draws you in is like, oh, I could do that. I mean, I could absolutely do that. But I wonder if she's just got all of these things in her head, or if she's, written them down somewhere. Or
Either way, we don't have to write them down because we're going to go to in the kitchen with Mama Mel and look them up there.
you got to do that. The other thing I was thinking as she was talking is her family obviously is important to her, and there's the generation after generation of her family have been, here in Blount County. And then, afterwards we were talking about her dad, connecting with another YouTuber, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but their connection, but using his voice, having his voice on that show. And I was thinking, like her kids and grandkids and their grandkids are probably going to be able to look back at all of these recipes and see her face and listen to her voice. And I thought that was a really cool, sort of legacy that she was also leaving behind,
Just
not
like
that she's going anywhere. I'm not saying that.
yeah, it's like our kids and grandkids will look back at the Let's Be Blunt episodes and go, "Oh man."
Lord,
Now we're hard on our family, but they have been supportive too, and like she said, her daughters have been supportive, so we appreciate all.
Absolutely, no, it's it. But she's got an impressive following.
Yeah, she does. So let's move
and
on
she's
to.
gotten to, when you say fame, she's gotten to the point too where she's got sponsors, she's got she's really doing well for herself, and most YouTubers or people who consider themselves YouTubers don't get to that point. So
True.
hats off to Mama Mel.
Her and another gem of a Blount County, so
Absolutely, yeah. So, well, you did something this morning. Went to a meeting this morning that, in lieu of real estate, might be good to just share with the folks if they haven't gotten this information somewhere else. But tell us about your meeting this morning.
This is a little more specific to Blount County than all of it, but the Downtown Maryville Alliance had their third annual uh, come see what we're doing kind of meeting
State of
down
the
at the
Union.
Capitol Theater. Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
that thing. And really interesting. I mean, a lot of questions answered about, everybody knows about, if you've been downtown, there's a Holiday Inn going in and what's just a big hole in the ground.
It's a big
And
hole.
yeah, they updated us that the problem that they had to fix with the soil underneath it has been fixed as of yesterday. So the actual construction and concrete stuff will start again in earnest. And I guess their time frame they said was 18 months when they first started this. So that's kind of I think what I got from that was it's 18 months from now when it should be done. So, but it should be making progress now. That's good. They talked about a lot of other um, downtown projects going on. The armory that everybody talks about. This, I mean, it is going to be a cool. We're gonna have to broadcast from there because
Yeah.
indoor, I think cornhole and virtual golf screens and all kind of games down there. Shuffleboard, I think maybe outside there's a fire pit and. But it's supposed to be open this year, so they got some work to be done. But I'm looking forward to that.
I drove by it just the other day and thought, man, it's really shaping up. It's looking good.
Yeah. Also got mentioned was the Wells Tavern downtown, which we talked to Alice Bassler and her partner
Yes, we
about.
did.
So
We're excited about that.
shooting for May, and so I'm going to have some Cullen skink when it opens, which
Cullen's King. Yeah.
sounds like
Did you
roadkill.
remember that, or did she just remind you of that?
She did because I asked her today again what it was. But
Okay.
yeah, so lots of things going on. But if you want to find it, Downtown Maryville Alliance has a Facebook and I'm pretty sure an Instagram page that you can go and I just went to the Facebook before we started here and somebody posted the entire 1 hour meeting. So if you want to see
Okay.
it, things
So go
going on downtown.
Check
That's
it out. Look, so many things and things that we have reported on that have already opened. But over the last year and a half,
Yeah. They
yeah,
mentioned Raven. They mentioned well Bella. They mentioned, but it's been there.
DSB. Did they talk about DSB, the new
Yes.
Italian restaurant coming up?
Yes, that's coming. The Jay Danforth has the meeting space below them, and below that, there's going to be a place called the Basement that offers 50% off something. So,
Oh yeah. We've been there actually. It's
oh yeah,
That's Molly's favorite place. I mean, hey, if we're gonna go shopping, we might as well go shopping for 50% off. So
that makes sense to me. So,
yeah.
I'm not sure everybody agrees with that in my family, but
Well, they like the idea of it, but I mean, it is what it is.
that's true. That's
What
true.
do you what's going on in between? We're right there on in that alleyway.
They did talk about that. It's kind of a revitalization thing, kind of like the pathway they did from Maryville College down to the library, pretty much through downtown.
Yeah.
I guess they're just fixing that whole thing up. I mean, I thought looked pretty good as it was, but I guess they're just kind of sprucing it up, making it a little more appealing downtown. So
Okay.
that should be coming soon too.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm sporting my Foxhole Golf Club hat today.
They had mentioned all of that all of that development that's coming. With the
Greenway Village.
Greenway Village. They there's already a marble slab and a Great American Cookie Company open down there. Several other things, including the Foxhole. The Foxhole's going to expand.
That's what I hear. Yeah, he's kind of going to blow out the one side and double the size of his what
Good
is
for him.
currently his.
I guess he's doing well. So
It's listen. I've been in there several times, and it's a lot of fun. We went there when the boys were home over Christmas. We went there, and Charlie and I went there a couple more times even. But it's so much fun. I mean,
it looks like I was in there. I didn't play, but it looks like something I'd be interested in.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah.
Will gets it in his schedule, I guess we'll go. So.
Yeah.
But
good.
yeah, now as far as specific real estate stuff, we have to refer ourselves to the expert.
That's right. which we just found out who is related to Mama Mel. It's mortgage.
They're sister-in-laws. Who knew that? Oh yeah. Hold on. Movement Mortgage with Michelle McCauley and Mama Mel. It's a lot of M's.
It's a lot of M's. But anyway, I guess Mortgage Michelle is going to give us an update on what's going on in the real estate market.
That's right.
Hello, my name is Michelle McCauley, and I'm a mortgage loan officer with Movement Mortgage. Let's talk about what's new in the market this week. Mortgage rates have remained relatively stable, still within multi-year lows compared to last year. And looking back in 2023, rates were 7.79% on average, and now we're around 6%. In a recent survey, I read that 63% of potential buyers stated they would buy in 2026 if rates drop below 6%. Well, guess what? We're almost there. Get prepared, get pre-approved, and know what you can afford ahead of time. If you're looking to buy or refinance, please give me a call at 865-806-6113.
All right, there you go.
Good stuff, as always, by Michelle. Thank you so much. And let's see, anything else that we need to talk about, Brett?
I think we're good. So I guess that's another episode in the wraps.
That's right. Join us in 2 weeks for another one.
Yep. Who will our next guest be?
What topics will we cover?
And what's changing the real estate market?
Well,
let's find out.
Thanks for listening to the Let's Be Blunt podcast. If you have questions or guest ideas, or if you'd like to sponsor a segment of our podcast, please send us an email at the Let's Be Blunt podcast at gmail.com.
I'm Brad Hepner.
And I'm Eric Rice.
And we call ourselves the Property Dads. As local realtors, we want you to know and love this community as much as we do. If you have questions about real estate, don't hesitate to call us at LeConte Realty at 865-268-4180. We'll be happy to help.